Welcome back to Hickman's Home Cooking. I'm Tony Hickman. And so I was getting my hair cut the other day, and after my haircut, they're all fans of the show, all the guys at the barbershop. I let them name the next dish that I want to cook. And surprisingly, they said they wanted a risotto. So I was like, all right, I haven't made a risotto in a while until I made it in school about a month ago. So it's actually fresh in my memory. I'm gonna add just a little twist to it, but it's pretty much just a classic mushroom risotto. So this is for all the guys down at the barbershop. You wanted it, man of my word, I'm gonna give it to you. So let's get started on how we do a classic mushroom risotto. So the first thing you want to do is heat up your stock or broth, whichever one you happen to have. You could use chicken or beef. I just happen to be using chicken. So you want to bring this up to temperature, so like a boil. You don't want to put cold liquid when you're cooking your arborio rice, because that will slow the cooking process down immensely when you're trying to let that rice absorb all of that. So heat that up, set it aside, and keep it at a low temperature. Next, we want to cook our mushrooms. So in a large saucepan, add some canola oil or vegetable oil, whichever you prefer, and a little dollop of butter. We want to heat this up until that butter is completely melted. Then when you want to add our mushrooms, I use two different types of mushrooms just to mix it up a little bit. I added some large Shitake mushrooms, followed by some baby Portabella mushrooms, just to mix it up a little bit and give you a little diversity. And so you want to cook these in your oil and your butter, give it a stir, and make sure all pieces are covered in the liquid, and you're going to let this cook down. Now mushrooms cook kind of funny. At the beginning, they're going to release all their moisture. So it's going to look like a little soupy. So if you look here on the side, see all that moisture that drains from them? That's all the moisture that the mushrooms hold, that they release when they're cooked. So you want to cook until all that moisture is reabsorbed or cooked out of the pan. That's pretty much how you're going to know your mushrooms are done. So it does take a while, so it does take about 10 to 15 minutes. But if you see here, if I tilt the pan back onto the side again, the only liquid that's going to be coming off is just a little bit of drizzle from the oil. All the moisture from the mushrooms is gone. So we want to go ahead and set these aside. For now, we will come back to these later. In a new pot, again, we want to add some more canola oil. It's just the oil that I used. And I love shallots, so I'm going to go ahead and add a whole shallot. And we're going to go ahead and simmer this down. Really release all the aromatics of the shallot. You could also use any type of onion that you want. Shallots just seem to be my go-to. Once this is cooked for about a minute or so, you want to add your arborio rice. For a long time, I thought risotto was the actual name of the rice, which it is not. That's just the name of the dish. So lesson learned there. So you want to toast this rice for about 60 seconds. Again, your heat should be about medium to medium high. Toast this for about 60 seconds, and then we're going to deglaze this with a white wine. Now when you put this in, it's going to be noisy and steamy, and that's exactly what you want. In fact, if that doesn't happen, that means that your heat is too low. Give this a little stir, and that alcohol should evaporate pretty quickly. Next, we have our stock that has been sitting on the low heat, so it's nice and warm. You want to ladle that in. For your first dose, you could do about 2 ladles worth, and then you want to stir that in. And here's where the patience part comes in. This whole process is going to take about 20 minutes. So you want to, but you can't just dump all the stock in all together. You need to ladle it in or put it in slowly and continuously stir for about 20 minutes. And please don't leave it. You want to continue to stir this. If you leave it, your rice might burn to the bottom and you will just lose your whole dish. So every time you need some more, you just add a little more as soon as you know when it gets evaporated, and continuously stir. And this is a good time while you're watching me stir to go ahead and click that like button and please subscribe down below. It helps my channel out a lot. So once this is painstakingly done, when you're about the last one, you want to go ahead and re-add your mushrooms at this point. I don't like cooking the mushrooms with the rice that I see a lot of people do, and it just kind of, you risk the opportunity to overcook your mushrooms. So I like doing it this way. Add your mushrooms back in here when you've added the last ladle of your stock in, and this will just simply reheat the mushrooms. Add one more little dollop of butter, and you want to take this opportunity to go ahead and season salt and pepper to taste. Make sure you get that all nicely stirred in. And then you want to add your cheese. You could use an assortment, different kind of cheeses. I grated up some fresh Parmesan Reggiano cheese. Goes great with the risotto, and you want to add a generous portion to it. Depends on how cheesy you like things in general, I guess. But you also want to give this a good stir around. Make sure all that cheese is incorporated to the dish. Nothing left to do at this point but to get it onto a plate. We're just going to bring it on over. Scoop this out with our wooden spoon into a plate and try to make it look as pretty as possible. Again, it's not the best, eye-appealing dish, but the taste should be great. I make it a little even there. Then, of course, you want to add some more fresh cheese right on top, just because you can never have enough cheese. And there you go. How easy was that to make? A nice, classic mushroom risotto. Nothing left to do but to give this a quick try. Make sure I get a piece of that mushroom on there. And delicioso.
And so there you have a very classic, simple mushroom risotto. Very little prep work is required to make this dish, and the flavors that you get are absolutely outstanding. I highly recommend trying this dish when you get a chance. So again, I am Tony Hickman from Hickman's Home Cooking. Please like and subscribe down below. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, click here or right here. Hickman's Home Cooking. I'll see you next time.